plan was simple. A peaceful weekend in the mountains, just me, some badly needed silence, and the battered old paperback I've been pretending to read for the past 6 months. I needed space, room to breathe, a break from the chaos of the city, and more importantly, from my annoyingly charming, infuriatingly unpredictable roommate. But of course, nothing in my life ever stays simple. "I'm coming with you," Liam had said, standing in the doorway of my room with a duffel bag already slung over his shoulder. "You shouldn't go up there alone. You could get eaten by a bear. Or worse, start talking to yourself." I laughed. "I came up with this trip to get away from you." He grinned. "Too bad. I call shotgun." Now here we are, in a tiny wooden cabin that looked a lot bigger online, trapped by a freak snowstorm that rolled in faster than the forecast predicted. Thick snowflakes fall like powdered sugar against the windows, stacking in heavy drifts around the doors. The road is completely gone beneath it. Our phones died hours ago. The signal bars? A joke. No Wi-Fi, no electricity, and no signs of it letting up anytime soon. It's just me, him, and the walls that feel like they're closing in a little more every hour. And of course, Liam is still shirtless. Because why wouldn't he be? The fireplace crackles softly behind him, casting golden light across his toned chest like he walked off the cover of a romance novel. His hair's a mess, soft brown curls that look like they've never known a brush, and his eyes have that usual glint, like he knows exactly how much he's getting under my skin. He hands me a mug of hot cocoa, instant powder mix, the last of the water we boiled before the power cut out, and drops onto the couch beside me. "This is going to be fun," he says, smirking over the rim of his mug. I take a slow sip, refusing to let my gaze linger too long on the way the firelight dances over the curve of his jaw. "Define fun," I mutter, because being trapped in a wooden box with a half-naked lunatic wasn't on my weekend agenda. He grins, smug as hell. "You love it." I glare at him. I tolerate it. He stretches his arms up behind his head, completely unbothered, like we're on some kind of spa retreat and not living in a snow globe nightmare. The silence that follows isn't exactly awkward, but it's not comfortable either. It crackles in the air between us, heavy and charged. Like there's too much unsaid, too much noticed but never named. We've lived together for a year, argued about dishes and rent and laundry schedules. But this is different. And for the first time since we arrived, I'm not worried about the snow. I'm worried about what might happen if I let myself fall for the one person I've been trying not to want. God help me. By the time the second day rolls around, the cabin feels even smaller than it did yesterday. We've burned through every deck of cards, made up ridiculous word games that ended in insults and laughter, and fought a very real war over who was braving the snow to gather more firewood. Liam lost. Obviously. But beneath the banter and boredom, something else is shifting. Something I don't want to name yet. He's sitting cross-legged by the fire, humming off-key while flipping through a magazine he's already read twice. I glance up from where I'm rolling dough. Yes, I'm baking out of sheer desperation, and catch him watching me. Not in the casual, bored kind of way. No, his gaze lingers a second too long on the stretch of my arms, the curve of my back when I reach across the counter. He doesn't look away when I meet his eyes. He smiles. It's a small one, lazy and warm, like he knows something I don't. It sends a shiver down my spine that has nothing to do with the cold. "Are you always this bossy in the kitchen?" he asks, his voice teasing but lower than usual. He's leaning against the counter now, too close, his shirt half unbuttoned and hanging loosely like an afterthought. I toss a bit of flour in his direction, which he dodges effortlessly. "Are you always this annoying in general?" "Only when I'm snowed in with someone who gets flustered every time I talk." I freeze for half a second, half a heartbeat, and then roll my eyes so hard it should have cracked my skull. "You wish," but my voice sounds a little too breathy. My face feels warm. My hands are trembling slightly, even though I'm trying to pretend they aren't. He steps closer, enough that I can feel the heat coming off him. The fire crackles in the hearth behind us, casting shadows that dance on the walls like ghosts. His fingers brush mine when he reaches for the mixing spoon beside me. On purpose, I think. It's too intentional. Too soft. I glance at him again, and he's already looking at me. Something unspoken sparks between us. Not playful. Not sarcastic. Not exactly. I feel the air shift. He licks his bottom lip, and my gaze follows without permission. He notices. Of course he notices. You keep looking at me like that, Caleb, he murmurs, and I might start thinking you like me. I laugh, sharp, defensive. Don't flatter yourself. But even I don't believe that anymore. Not when every time our skin touches, I feel like someone struck a match inside my chest. Not when his cologne lingers in the air, and it smells like temptation. And definitely not when I keep thinking about what might happen if the storm never ends. God help me, I think I want him to kiss me. The wind howls like a wounded animal outside, rattling the windows with every gust. Around 9 p.m., the power gives one last flicker, then dies with a sigh. Just like that, the only light left in the cabin comes from the fireplace. Perfect, I mutter, tugging my hoodie tighter. It's official, Liam says, appearing behind me with an armful of every blanket we have. We're starring in a rom-com cliché. I'll pass on the falling in love with your idiot roommate part, thanks. I shoot back automatically. He grins as he drops the blankets. Well, the idiot roommate is currently the only reason you're not going to freeze to death. So, that's how I find myself sitting cross-legged on the rug, surrounded by a nest of quilts and throw pillows, firelight flickering across Liam's face as he spreads out a blanket like this is totally normal. He pats the spot beside him. Come on. Body heat's a thing, you know. I hesitate. Every alarm bell in my head starts ringing, but the truth is I'm freezing. And maybe, just maybe part of me wants to. I lower myself beside him, close enough to feel the heat rolling off his body. Too close. Relax, he says with a chuckle, throwing half the blanket over me. I don't bite. Shame, I mutter. His head snaps toward me, brows raised. I freeze. Did I say that out loud? Before I can backtrack, he just laughs. Interesting. Great. Now he thinks I'm flirting. Worse? I might actually be flirting. He shifts to lie back against the pillow pile, and I mirror him, awkward and stiff. The silence stretches as the fire pops and cracks beside us. His breath fogs in the air. Mine matches it. Then slowly I feel it, his arm brushing against mine. The warmth of his skin seeping into me under the blanket. He shifts again, subtle, but now his thigh is against mine too. Hey, he whispers. His voice is soft. Different. You always this tense. I'm not tense. Sure, he murmurs, his tone knowing. Under the covers, I feel his fingers find mine. Light. Gentle. Barely there. But deliberate. My heart stumbles over itself. I should pull away. Say something sarcastic. Ruin the moment. But I don't. He doesn't move. And neither do I. His thumb grazes mine, slow and tender. Like he's testing a theory. Like he's waiting for permission. I turn my head slightly and look at him. His face is just inches away, eyes darker in the firelight. Searching. This okay? He asks, barely above a whisper. I nod. It's all I can manage. He smiles. And suddenly the cold doesn't matter. The storm doesn't matter. It's just us, two idiots, tangled in heat and tension, and something that feels a hell of a lot like the beginning of something we've both been too scared to name. Not anymore. It starts with a laugh. A real one. We're sprawled side by side, the fire a low burn now, and Liam's just said something ridiculous about how I snore like a dying blender. I tell him he sleep talks about pancakes. We both burst out laughing. Then quiet. He turns his head. I do the same. And there it is, that look. That damn look. The one I've tried to ignore for months. The one that speaks louder than anything we've ever said aloud. And suddenly his lips are on mine. It's soft. Gentle. The kind of kiss that feels like a question more than a declaration. Not aggressive. Not teasing. Just real. His lips tremble against mine for half a second. Then he pulls away like he's been burned, eyes wide, breath shallow. Damn. Adam, I'm sorry. he blurts, already starting to sit up, his hands tangled in the blanket like he's ready to bolt. Don't, I say, breathless. I reach out and grab his wrist. Don't apologize. Because in that moment, everything makes sense. Every late-night conversation. Every stupid argument over dirty dishes. Every time I made excuses to not bring someone home. Every time I caught myself watching him when I thought he wouldn't notice. It wasn't random. It wasn't meaningless. It was him. It was always him. So I lean in again, no hesitation this time, and kiss him back. Harder. Deeper. Like I've been holding it in for far too long. He makes this sound, half gasp, half growl, and it goes straight through me. His hand moves to my jaw, thumb brushing my cheek. My fingers tangle in his hair. He pulls me closer like he needs me there, like if he lets go, the whole cabin will collapse and take us with it. When we finally break apart, we're both breathless. Wow, he whispers, forehead resting against mine. Yeah, I manage, still stunned at how right it felt. Wow. We're silent again, but it's not the awkward kind anymore. It's full. Warm. Charged. He looks at me like he's seeing me for the first time. Like I'm not just his roommate anymore. And I can't stop smiling. I thought you hated me, he admits, voice quiet. I tried to, I whisper. Didn't work. He laughs, and it's the most beautiful sound I've ever heard. Outside, the wind still howls. The fire cracks softly beside us. But inside, everything feels different. Warmer. Clearer. Like the moment you finally stop lying to yourself and realize love was right there the whole damn time. Morning comes with silence. Not the peaceful kind. The awkward, skin-crawling kind. He avoids my eyes. I burn the eggs. We sit too far apart on the couch. Finally, I say, was that just? I don't know, he says quietly. I didn't plan it. Me neither. But I liked it, he adds, eyes flicking up to meet mine. Did you? I nod. Yeah. Way more than I should have. And somehow, that makes things more complicated. Because now we both know the truth. And we're both scared to admit what it means. The storm outside finally starts to break. But the one between us only grows. He's quiet. Restless. I catch him pacing at night, staring out the window like he's waiting for an escape. Are you regretting it? I ask one night, unable to hold it in. He turns. Eyes wide. No. God, no. I'm terrified I'll mess this up. I walk toward him. Slow. Careful. You already kissed me, Liam. You kinda messed it up already. His lips twitch. So now what? Now, I whisper, pulling him close. You do it again. And he does. We fall into a rhythm. Cooking together. Sharing stories. Holding hands under the blanket at night like it's some big secret. Even though there's no one around to see. He tells me about the guy who broke his heart in college. I tell him about the one who never noticed I existed. We start saying goodnight with kisses instead of nods. One evening, curled beside the fire, he murmurs, I don't want this to end when the snow melts. Neither do I. But reality waits beyond the mountain. And we can't hide here forever. The plow finally reaches the road. We pack in silence. Every folded sweater feels like a goodbye. He zips up his bag, looks at me, and says, Do we go back to pretending? No, I say, stepping closer. We go back and figure this out. But what if we break it? Then we break it trying. He reaches for my hand. I'm in, Adam. For real. And with that promise, the cabin is no longer a prison. It's where we stopped pretending. Where we started something real. Back in the city, it's louder. Busier. But his hand still finds mine on the couch. He still kisses me good morning. I still smile like an idiot when he walks out of the shower. We're not perfect. But he's brushing his teeth beside me. He's here. And when he looks at me like I'm something he chose, not just something that happened, I believe, maybe for the first time, that I'm worthy of love. And this is the first day of us.